Hello, everybody. You're watching the Mike Nelson Show. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe right now. I want to thank the almost 1,000 of you around the world that have already subscribed. I'm here with a pretty cool guest. Pretty cool guest today. I'm here with Johnny Majestic. How you doing today, Johnny?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
So Johnny, talk to me a little bit about yourself. When did your kind of musical journey kind of kick off? When did you start listening to music? When did that whole start for you?
Oh shit. Well, I've been doing my solo project as Johnny Majestic for the past 3 years, I think. Kind of as I moved to LA, I started doing that, but I've been doing music since I was probably like 6 years old. That's when I started playing piano. I was singing before that too, and I've just been in bands since then. I think I was playing shows when I was like 10 or 11, just with my kind of like 80s glam cover band I had with my friends. Uh, and I was doing all kinds of stuff in between that, different genres and all kinds of things. And right now, what I'm trying to do is kind of an amalgamation of like all the things that I've gotten into over the years. Um, and it's the most like serious project that I've had so far. But I've been doing music like almost my whole life.
What kind of music were you listening to growing up?
Um, I'm I'm not sure what if I had a specific thing I was into as a
Maybe
kid.
some artists you're listening to, maybe that you
I
liked.
The first thing I really got into was when I was like 10. I got into Kiss and Motley Crue and stuff like that. I got really deep into like 80s glam and just rock music in general. Um, that was like a big formative thing for me. I got really into guitar playing around that time too. And I always keep that as sort of an element in my music. I really like taking inspiration from that. And later on, I really got into Bowie too. Um, and all those things are always kind of elements I like to keep within my music and really like the core of what I do, I feel like, even though I like to expand on it a lot and do kind of a modern spin on it.
Now, with your project you're having right now, you mentioned your most serious project. How did that kind of start? When exactly is the timeline for starting this project?
So I had a band back in Europe where I spent the most of my life growing up. I had a band called Vulture there, and I was releasing music with them. And I also had a kind of a rap thing I was doing for a few years. Um, and I had all these like kind of pop rock songs, just like things that weren't quite right for any of the projects. And I was kind of just recording demos of them at studios to use for a later time. Um, and I started doing that when I was probably like 15 or something like that. And so I had all these demos and I knew I want to do something with them eventually. And then after I moved to the US, it was kind of when I like permanently moved to the US to go to school and then eventually moving to LA. Um, it was kind of like this is the time to do it. So I started just gathering all these songs, started working on them, and I have like hundreds of things I'm working on right now that I gathered over the years. And yeah, it's kind of I'm working on these things that some of them I've had for a while, and I really had time to like craft them and make them the way I want to make them. But yeah, it's just this kind of catalog that I've been building for a while, and I've been kind of planning this for a long time. But I write new stuff all the time as well, so it's just it's been kind of going on in the background for a while.
Now, talk to you kind of your plans to kind of release music, or you have a lot of stuff you're planning to do. So, what's like plans for 2024 in terms of that? Or not 2024 is ending, maybe 2025 as the year's coming up.
Yeah, I'm trying to drop an EP by the end of the year. It's almost done, so I feel like I can start talking about it already. I think it's gonna be like 7 songs. Most of them are released already, but there's a few on there that I'm gonna drop with the EP as a whole. So that's my first like kind of compilation project. I had like a remix EP before that, but this is like a thing of like all original songs. So I got that. I'm preparing for this Battle of the Bands gig in 3 weeks. We got to the finals of that, so I'm getting very serious about it and like trying to prepare just a crazy, crazy show. Like just on all levels, something like totally insane and memorable, like visually and sound wise. Um, I'm hyper focused on that right now. So that's all I'm thinking about every day. But yeah, I'm working on that EP. We're like mixing the last two things right now, so I'm hoping to get that out soon. And yeah, I'm stoked to finally have like a full thing. Is there's so much shit we play live that like people can't listen to because it's not out. So I'm trying to just get that music out so that people can check it out from all over the world.
Now, I noticed on your Instagram you had a chance to audition for American Idol. Is that right?
Yeah,
Talk to me a
yeah.
little bit more about that.
I got like scouted out for it. One of the producers just found me on Instagram and messaged me if I want to audition. And the way it works is basically you go through all these Zoom auditions with like producers. I think I went through like four or five of them, and you kind of just play your song over Zoom. And like after all of those, they decide whether you go on TV or not. I think it's a different system than what how I remember it when I saw it as a kid.
Yeah, you
Like
lining up and all that. Yeah,
yeah, like
and the
you
old.
just walk
Yeah,
in and do it. Like this was like very um I don't know, it was a very layered system. Like
yeah.
and once they said like yeah, we're like come on TV, then basically you go out to Malibu and they pay for your hotel room there and you're there for like 2 3 days just shooting, doing interviews, and then like finally auditioning. I was there for a day longer, I think, because it was like super windy one of the days, so I had to like postpone my audition. But it's interesting. There's a ton of stuff that goes on outside of the actual audition. Like you're there for hours, just like filming little spots and interviews and just filming stuff constantly. But it was super fun. Like I was really pleasantly surprised by it. I didn't really know what to expect, but I met so many talented people. Like it was really cool being in a room with people where you like know that they're really fucking good at what they do. It was super fun to be around that.
So there's like a lot of networking going on in American Idol with other musicians,
So
or
yeah, yeah, in a way, because you arrive there and it's kind of just you by yourself. It's not like you can't really bring anyone with you in the beginning. Uh, or I mean, I guess you can, but like most people didn't. So you're kind of just sitting there and you can't really do anything other than to talk with everybody else. Um, and also, you all have music in common, so you have stuff to talk about. Uh, and yeah, I talked to like so many people who were just really talented and interesting, and it was like very enriching being in that environment. Only for a few days, but it was really cool.
now I know for you, you're very it's very important for you like music videos and marketing, social media. Talk to me a little bit more about that. How you're using that to your advantage in your career right now.
Um, yeah, with music videos, I just love making them. If I have the opportunity to create a visual to my music that I'm seeing in my head, I'm just like super excited about doing that every time because I direct my videos too, so it's a very like personal thing to me. Um, and I've kind of, at first when I was making music videos, I was just making them for the sake of making them, and then I had this kind of thought about them that first seemed kind of depressing, but then became a positive thing where like music videos are basically in the grand scheme of things a marketing tool. And I was like, man, that sucks. Like you put all this work in to make this piece of art and it's just like a marketing tool to get people to listen to your music. But the bright side to that is that you can take clips from your videos and make like ads from them or like make reels from them and they get a lot of traction because it is like a pretty high quality thing that you've made that people want to see. So I've actually last year or two I've been kind of happy about the fact that I can use music videos as a marketing tool, even though at first I was like kind of like, oh, this is lame. Like they're only gonna watch like 15 seconds of it. I mean, I hope people watch the whole video, but it's great that I can just take a piece of it and show it to people. And I've been running ads like all over the world, and like people from South America and like Eastern Europe and uh, all parts of the world are like checking out my stuff through these like music video clips, uh, and that's really cool. Like my number one uh, city on Spotify is Mexico City.
Wow.
I've never even been there. Like it's my number one fan base, so it's super cool getting all these fans in different places, and it makes me really just want to go there and play. Like I'm really feel like there's a lot of places I want to go that are going to be super cool to like play shows for people there.
Now, in terms of like shows, you have kind of you mentioned Battle of the Bands. Is that kind of the big one you have coming up? Any other shows you want to promote?
Yeah, that's actually the big one. I'm hyper focused on that. We're like reworking the whole set completely. So I think it's a great motivator and like taking the whole show to another level. And I think uh, it's become a lot more exciting doing that, like doing stuff with the stage show that we haven't done before, like different props and like costumes and stuff. And that's kind of making me want to do shows more. But I also want to be focused on finishing my recorded stuff first, um, because I find myself sometimes like falling into a cycle of just promoting local shows, and that's cool and it's fun to play local shows, but like 75% of your audience might not be able to go to those and it's completely irrelevant to them. So I want to really like focus on putting out the music I have almost finished and then kind of think about shows. But I'd really like to go to yeah, to some other countries. We're hoping to do like South America or Mexico sometime soon, since that's, you know, Mexico's pretty close to LA, so that's kind of within our reach. And yeah, but nothing's concretely planned so far. That's kind of just what we're hoping to do, and the maybe like start of next year or sometime in the next year. But yeah, trying to finish recorded stuff mostly now.
Now, in terms of your recorded music, how do you usually like gather inspiration for that? What's like something that you get inspiration to make your music?
Um, wow. Well, I try to train myself to whenever I get an idea to just get my phone out and record it, and I just gather those a lot. And within that, I try to usually just kind of improvise on the idea that pops into my head and create a full song out of it. Um, I feel like for like songwriting, as far as lyrics, when it just like comes out of you, it that's always been me kind of feeling sad or devastated or heartbroken. That stuff works really well for writing songs. But I think it's yeah, it's also just like a habit thing where I just try to always record my ideas and get some sort of a concept in my head. You know, I feel lately like it's actually pretty helpful sometimes to just like sit down and close your eyes and imagine what the song would sound like on stage or what the recording would sound like, and then kind of like turn that into reality. So I guess a lot of just imagining things, like just almost like a dreamy type element to it, I guess. Yeah, that's kind of what I what inspires me, just stopping and thinking about what I could do, and it just kind of it works by itself. Like it just leads you there, you know.
Now, talk to me about the challenges of like an artist today, how people don't really listen to albums, but you have to try to put out, good music. And how do you get like listeners engaged in today's world, basically?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I've been putting out singles since I started as like a solo act for that reason mostly, because I like to put a lot of attention into every song. I like every song to get kind of, you know, it's like fair share of attention. Um and that's kind of just been the way I've been doing it, and I feel like unless you have a whole concept album, it is kind of hard to promote a bigger thing like that. But I feel like it's kind of a trend, so you just got to work with how stuff works at any point in time, you know, or try to reinvent it. But yeah, I've kind of been mostly doing singles, and now I'm going a little bit into the territory of like EP, because it is definitely nice to have a lot, like have more music for people to check out rather than just a few songs. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think singles can like just shine a light on each song more, which in a way I like. So I think I just kind of cut out that ego aspect of like I want to make this giant crazy album, and I may be saving that for when I have like a really big established audience and there's a lot of people willing to listen through to that whole thing. I think at the point I'm at right now, I kind of I prefer to put out just like single things so that people aren't overwhelmed and they actually listen through to the whole thing and check it out. I'm still trying to gain more and more fans.
Well, Johnny, it was great talking to you today. I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel.